It's Chris Fade and Caroline Stanbury's Not So Epic podcast.
Brought to you by NMC Healthcare and Cosmesurge. Head to cosmesurge.com.
We're near Irish Village. We're at a gorgeous Jumeirah hotel, and if they ever wanted to sponsor the podcast,
Thanks to Caroline, you've lost sponsorship from Jumeirah.
It's another amazing podcast, and give them a big round of applause. Boyzone won. Most of them are here right now. It's super cool to have you guys join us on the podcast. Obviously, Caroline, you've got some history with the boys. You know them as well.
That doesn't sound so good. Keith and Shane, I do know them. We don't have history.
Well, the last time we saw you was probably in, I think it was Edinburgh. You came to the castle, one of the gigs.
I did. I'm their number one fan. I just follow them around.
She's a bit of a stalker. She pops up all the time. It's a bit scary.
So, what happened last time in Edinburgh? What happened? Why were you?
We stayed up all night.
We did stay up all night. We partied all night, drank some
That doesn't sound
Edinburgh
good.
juice.
Edinburgh juice.
So when I said there's,
Brew, I think it's called.
I said there was a history. There obviously is. As in,
There's loads of history.
Of course.
I'm really good friends with Ronan and his wife.
okay.
And we met at the concert, and I grew up listening to them.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're a lot older than me. And that's the history of the boys. I met them the first weekend that you were official with your wife.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, way back when.
Yeah.
I've known Caroline for a while now. She's an interesting lady. She everywhere she goes, she leaves a wake. You know.
Why are you laughing?
I've only known Caroline for 7 months.
And I managed to make him start his career again.
Yeah, but you're right, Ronan. What you're saying is correct.
She leaves a wake. I mean, and it's no. Look, she's a very wonderful, colourful, bright, shining star.
She's standing right beside you,
I
though.
know. I have to big her up.
Everybody thinks she's sitting down.
But very special lady. We all love Caroline.
Congratulations. This is we're here in obviously Dubai right now, and you're just about to do another performance. You flew in from New Zealand. You guys, this is it. We're touring again. We're doing the global tour again. Not showing, not sure where you're waking up, what city it's back on. Is there memories of before coming back? You thinking to yourself, oh, we're back at this again. Are we doing it again? Why are you doing it? Asking yourselves any questions? Why are you doing it again? Are we happy?
No, it's good. I mean, the whole tour itself is, it's been a lengthy one. We've been to kind of Middle East, as we are now, over to Far East. We've been Australia, we've been New Zealand. So, and we still go back over to Asia, more of Asia and stuff towards June, and then some UK dates towards October and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a blur, bit of a whirlwind, as you said, plane to plane, hotel to hotel.
Tell them how many years, though. It's amazing.
We are, 25, 26, really official,
Who gets
26
to last
years.
26 years in this industry.
No.
Rolling
Yeah.
Stones.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you are.
And us. You too. You too.
It's mad.
Yeah, no.
Did you guys ever think about getting tattoos on the way?
No, we don't.
We all feel very strongly that,
Against
marking your skin, self-harming like that. Tattoos is like self-harming.
Who got the first one? Because there's a lot. There's a lot here.
You two had them first, actually. Who did get the first one? Was it you?
I would have been the first to get tattooed. I was 15 years old. So.
What was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was
Black Stallion.
a big thing on my back, which is to do with when I was a kid. I looked up to a guy. Oh, that's not there anymore. Listen, I'm getting tattooed on tattoos right now. I've been tattooed so long in my life. I'm getting tattoos on tattoos. So that's kind of how my life of tattooing is going right now. So
My favourite is it costs you £30 to put it on and £1,000 to take it off.
I don't know where you get them, but they're 1,200 quid where I come from. They're not
I've
cheap.
got something that big.
No, mine is bigger.
Is that right?
Now, I do have to say, because we have got a camera on us, I don't usually sit into interviews wearing bright blue and green.
Yes, you do. You're always wearing green.
I was about to say you go and play golf, but you
I
are.
was there half an hour ago.
So you're on
I was
the.
over there screaming over, waving in the window from the golf course across the road half an hour ago. Myself and Ronan. I've got some great friends here in Dubai who took us, very kindly took us out for a few holes this
Party
morning.
boys.
Ronan won and I lost, and there you go, and that's what it's all about.
And it's all about the golf for these ones.
I was going to say, you said you're 26 years together touring. 26 years ago, would have you ever been on a golf course?
No.
yeah, you would have definitely.
No, I would have, because I used to rob golf balls.
You used to what? Rob or rub?
No, rob them. I used to steal them.
Oh, I thought you were like, I used to rub them.
There was a driving range beside my house. And for the first 3 weeks of stealing these balls, I didn't realise why there was so many balls scattered across the field. I said, but they must just be free. So I took bags of them and sold them. Until I went, actually won the Clare Manor. Until I went one day while it was open and the fecker started aiming at me while I was robbing them. I got caught. And instead of him getting me involved with the police and telling my mother, he gave me a job. So I worked for him for 3 years.
For free. Nice.
No, I got paid £2.50 an hour. Which sounded like lots of money at the time. But you bend down and pick up golf balls and put them in a bag.
I'm glad you can
For
continue
an
on
hour.
with that. Now
And
you
get
bend
paid
down
£2.50.
and pick up golf balls.
I used to wear my hurling helmet in case I got knocked out by a ball flying through the air because it was open when I was doing it. And I went on then to get my first job as a waiter, a bellboy, and a barman in his bar and hotel. That was my first job. I was 13 or 14.
So when did you realise you had a voice?
Last year.
You guys came together how? Who brought it together? I know there's a story behind it.
Shane started the whole thing. He approached him and another lad in Dublin, who's not in the band, approached our then manager, and basically put an advert in the newspaper, putting the Irish answer to take that together. That's what he was doing at the time, because there was no boy bands, there was no pop music in Ireland. It was predominant. Well, it was all rock music. It was, Thin Lizzy, U2. Bands like that. There was no such. People kind of almost laughed at the idea of a pop band coming out of Ireland. We weren't that sort of people.
I think they still do, though.
But then, the arena down the road was, rammed every single night with Take That and E17 and bands like that. So there was a want for it. So Shano started it up. 300 lads all turned up at the auditions. Keith and myself and Mikey and Stephen and all of us were there, and we sang and we danced. Colin Farrell was there, yeah.
Really?
Colin was there,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
To audition.
What do you mean God love him?
I do.
Oh, you love him? I thought you were
God, I love him. God love him. God, I love him. That's where you're there.
So he was there to audition as well.
He auditioned, yeah. He didn't get in the band. He sadly, things didn't go too well for him. No, he chose the right road.
Who picked?
So all of us, obviously, and then there was.
No, I mean, who picked you guys?
Oh, well, Shane was part of the
You were with him.
Ironically enough, I was part of the process of judgment, I suppose.
Wow.
Yeah, and a few hundred guys came in, sang, danced, and obviously the ones that stood out, Rose always stood out. He came in with an original song, not the song that was requested for people to kind of audition with. Duffy, we grew up with each other all our lives, pretty much. Well, I suppose we're a couple of blocks down, if you want to talk in that way of New York kind of manner. So yeah, we and the other guys, it all kind of in the end was down to me, Louis Walsh, and a couple of other music heads from back in the day.
So Louis.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Walsh.
So yeah, that was 26 years ago, and we spent a year. Once we were formed, we spent a year travelling around Ireland in a white transit van, doing nightclubs, getting cigarette butts thrown at us, bottles of beer bounce off us. The girls are trying to jump on stage to kiss us. The lads are trying to jump on stage to punch the head off us.
Sure.
And that was it. That was a year of that.
Do you think they were trying to kiss us?
But they were trying to kiss you.
Were you the sexy?
I don't think they were
Keith
trying
was
to
the
kiss
sexy one. Keith and Sharon were the sexy ones in the early days. We were.
You say in the early days like it's changed.
Oh, it's definitely changed now.
Now.
Of course it's changed. Come to the show tonight in Dubai and see just how much it's changed.
Do you? We often catch up with obviously a lot of the newer boy bands.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you guys, I've always said it would.
Tonight there's going to be mothers, grandmothers, and a lot of.
Yeah, but that's great. That's what.
We have a massive.
Our sponsors are Blue Rinse.
We have honestly, we have all ages come to the shows. We have younger kids that are coming with their parents who are educated through their parents, and then we have the parents and their grandparents. So it is a real, very different demographic.
We see a lot of, like now in the news with the younger generation coming through. There's no one there when you become famous, and you guys have all.
Guide you.
100%. So you're a kid. You've just grown up, a regular kid, whatever. The next thing you know, you have a heap load of money. You've got all the girls. You've got everything around you that you can have. And I believe that because you just see it. We on the radio, we always hear these stories. If it's Justin Bieber, if it's Zayn or whoever it is. Do you think that there is a?
He was married so young. So what was it?
21.
21, which is ridiculous.
So why at the age of do you wish that there was? I always think someone could make some cash.
Yeah, no,
out of.
I hear where you're coming from.
Like,
in my experience, when you have 26 years experience in the business and there's younger guys coming through,
Yeah.
and you think that you might have some words of wisdom to try and help them, they don't want to know.
Don't want to know.
Because when you're 21, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you think you know it all. In fact, you do know it all.
Yeah.
It's only till you get to 40, 41, 42 that you realise that you know nothing, that you're only learning. So it's unfortunate because you have the money, because you believe, because you've been given a voice, whether it be an educated one or an ignorant one, you have a voice, you have the money. When you get an old timer that's days are nearly numbered, coming along and trying to give you a little bit of a heads up on how to be better at what you're doing, they don't want to hear it.
No.
They know it all. They just think that you're trying to justify yourself in the business still.
Has any of you had to give advice to anyone at this age?
Not have to. We've been asked to, but like I say, it falls on deaf ears.
Sure.
It's not worth our time. It's not worth your time. These guys have to learn from themselves. You can try. I mean, at the end of the day, the safer guys in the business are the guys that come from a solid background, that had a good upbringing, that had good parents, good family background, good morals drilled into them as young kids.
Yeah.
So when they come to those dangerous years of kind of freaking out, that they have those morals, that solid foundation of good living instilled in them.
Yeah, I think there's a dangerous time right now for people that are in the 18, 19 years of age, like what, millennials, is that what they're called, I guess? Because of social media and expectation, there's a lot of pressure on kids, and you've seen it, like Justin Bieber now has come out about his depression and so on, and he's gone to get help and his mental health and so on. Selena Gomez.
It's all social media.
It's social media driven, and it's expectation, and there's other things at play as well, and there's a lot more drugs out there than there ever has been before, and it's a scary time. I have a 20-year-old son. Duster has a 23-year-old son. I have an 18-year-old daughter and also a 13-year-old and a 2-year-old. But the older kids, they're right in the middle of it right now, and we see it with them. The social media, the impact social media has on them, and that is doing exactly the same thing. Whether you're making a fortune and you're a celebrity, or you're in college, it has the same effect on you regardless. Whether you have 100 followers or you've got 100 million followers, it does the same thing to you. You want to look like that guy, or you want to have what he has, or you want to have what she has, or you want to be like them, or be as beautiful and you can't make people can't make their mind up for themselves anymore. There's no such thing as individuality. Everybody wants to, be like everybody else and look like everybody else. So we got lucky being in a boy band in the 90s. There was no social media. There was no cell phones. There was no internet when we started.
And we had good, solid Irish mammies that instilled the foundation of morals. Mothers. We were brought up to respect our elders, to treat people like the way you like to be treated yourself. And then when you're kind of catapulted into this business of fame and money and whatever goes with it, you might have moments of madness where you fly or forget where you are for a while. But that foundation that was instilled into you from your parents and your family comes back to you, and you land on your feet very solidly again.
But then would you kick each other? Like if one of you got too big for your boots, what would happen?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
We always kept each other in touch. And it's very easy in this business when you come off stage after playing to 150,000 people in Hyde Park or somewhere like that to actually feel that you are extraordinary, that you're better than everybody else. And it's okay to live that and to enjoy
hear that ring? Do you know what that ring is?
I like
The drinks have arrived, we believe. So here, come in, sir. Come in. So the drinks have come in right now, and the boys are happy. What's it called? What's the drink called?
Kina Palada.
Kina Palada. Hi, so you can just put it on the table here. It's fine. Thank you, bro. So we've got a couple of pina coladas. It looks like a white and a black coffee. Is that?
The coffee's for me. Who do you think the white wine's for? You know her well.
Caroline is here. We go, Caroline.
I like to drink on the job.
Sorry, mate. There we go.
Thanks, man. All right. Thank you very much.
Here we are.
Thank you.
Boyzone hanging out. Cheers, guys. Thanks for ordering me a drink. Appreciate it. Yeah, cool. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, mate.
If you're going to be disrespectful and late to turn up for the gig, that's what you get.
Don't forget, I have your recording too, so.
Yeah, let's just put this out here that I'm using your phone to record this interview on. So we'll have to get this recording after. How's the drinks?
Delicious, man. Would you like to taste?
No, I'm all right. Thanks, mate. You enjoy it. You enjoy that. Hold on, my brother. Are you signing for that? My brother's here as well. What are you nicking? Are you stealing? Oh, they've got your fruit. Did you guys ask for fruit and cheese? There we go, fruit and cheese. Hey!
Oh, they're from Caroline. We knew it. That's
definitely you, Caroline.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet Caroline? How did
I met Caroline first. It was Saint-Tropez. It just gets better, doesn't it? It was Saint-Tropez. It was a fun night. My wife and I. She wasn't my wife at the time. Storm and I. A group of friends actually who are all of the group now are all of our friends pretty much, and a wonderful group of people, and that was a good few years back, and we just stayed in touch. My wife and Caroline were like thick as thieves that night, and
Hit it off.
Yeah, they hit it off and became friends, and
they couldn't shake me.
we tried many times. And Caroline's husband Chem's a good pal.
Yeah. I used to have all his posters all over my room.
Yeah, she didn't tell me that at the time.
Not that
She
much.
didn't tell me that at the time. I would have given her a white bird.
I'd say she didn't fucking tell Storm that either.
I told Jeff, and I was like, no, I love Storm. I love both of them. They're my favourite people. And we met at a party, and then you have the same agent as my best friend. And that's how we got talking.
I got stalking.
Still here.
And she's stalking ever since. Yeah.
I'm okay, and I'm good to admit it.
No, we're friends, proper friends.
There we go.
super cool?
You sang for my 40th.
I did. I went to her 40th. And
10 years ago, you sung.
For free. I know. At 15, I thought it was.
You sung it. You sung it. What did you sing?
Life is a roller coaster, and
you say nothing at all, which I think was an actual dedication.
Hello. Hello. Yes.
When you're back on, does anything change as you not really get older, but with more experience when you're on stage?
Yeah. Like there's a confidence definitely that you're a little bit more. When you're younger, like Duster said, you think you know it all, but also you're not comfortable in your own skin because you don't know what that should feel like, and it's only time and life and experiences can give you that. So the more time obviously you spend on stage, the more comfortable you feel as a human being and know what your boundaries are.
Yeah.
And know how good you are or how bad you are. So, and when it comes down to links and, when you're talking between the songs and trying to take the audience on a journey and the right times to lift them and then drop them and lift them again, that only comes with experience.
It's a different art form to it all,
Lift them and drop them. It's just like having a baby.
You guys walk in as relaxed as if it's your living room.
Yeah.
I see. You do. You kind of, and you speak to, you look at people and you sort of involve the audience. I mean, I think I've been to a few shows now, and I see you guys like really involve people.
We're kind of the people's band. We've always kind of said that,
Yeah.
We don't really separate ourselves as these stars on stage. We are quite, like Caroline's talking about, involved in people's kind of crowd participation, if you want to. Our jokes are their jokes.
Yeah.
There's not too much in-house. Well, there's in-house stuff that we talk nonsense on, but we share that. We share them jokes with the people. So Caroline is right.
They look at them and they talk to them, and you recognise fans that come to all the shows, and you speak to them, and they're really kind, and they sort of involve it, which is why I think that people have lasted so many years with you.
Yeah.
They want to follow and do it all.
I don't think as a band we've ever lost the run of ourselves, and I mean individually at times maybe, but as a band.
Sorry about that, lads.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that, lads. But like Shallow says, we've kind of always been the working man's boy band. We're the lads you'd see walking down the street.
Yeah. He says as we're sitting here sucking on penis.
Yeah. You two are.
With a grand piano in the background and a staircase in the pool.
How many years did you take the break? And you had a break.
6, wasn't it?
And roughly
2007 we got back, right?
6, yeah.
2007. So
We took a break at the end of '99 into 2000.
Was that a mutual agreement with all of you?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much for a year. That grew into 7 years.
6.
6.
Back at 07, yeah.
We got back at the end of 07.
How did that? Who was the first to get the ball rolling to get
It was
back?
actually the BBC. The BBC got in contact with our people. We were all off doing our own projects, various different projects, and they got in contact with us and said, look, Children in Need, which is a massive big TV show where they make hundreds of millions for
Charity,
people less worthy than us all over the world.
Yeah.
And they said they'd love us to come and perform on Children in Need, to get back together and do a medley of 3 of our biggest hits. So we all got contacted individually. It just so happened that we were available to do it. So we got together in London, we all met up, we got into the studio and we put together some sort of a choreographed routine for the 3 songs that we were doing on Children Need. We had such a great time reminiscing, talking about the good times, talking about the things that we experienced together. I mean, at the end of the day, the 5 of us experienced everything together. We're the only people that were there. So we're the only people we can talk to about the things that we remember. So it was an amazing time. And then the suggestion was made, look, this is after going so well, why don't we do a reunion tour and see if people are still interested in coming out and seeing us. We sold out our world tour in 4 hours.
Crazy.
And we were back on the road full at it, 2008, 2009. Unfortunately then, when we got to October 10, 2009, very tragically, we lost Stephen Gately, which is devastating for the four of us. He was a very, very special unique part of the band. He was the one gay guy in the band, and we took, we all took great care of him. We were great friends to him. So it was very difficult because he was kind of like the vulnerable one, and we lost him. So it was tough to deal with that. And we weren't quite right for a few years after that. We tried to keep going. We were in the middle of recording an album at the time when Stephen was alive, so his vocals were very much part of this album. We decided to finish it in his memory. We called the album Brother in his memory, and we toured the album, and we called the tour the Brother Tour. It was a tough tour. It was a really tough tour because the dynamic of 5 on stage for so many years became a dynamic of 4, and we didn't know where we were. We didn't know where we belonged anymore on stage.
Well, you were in sync for all those years.
No, we were Boyzone. No.
Yeah.
Well, that was good, man. As someone said that before, it's like,
Only a minute.
yeah. But obviously, there was a pattern on stage, and then
Yeah, it wasn't nice, man. We missed them, and to be fair, we didn't know how to deal with it, and a few of us kind of probably drank too much.
yeah.
Just trying to numb the pain. So ultimately we went away again and waited for the right time when we all felt it right to come back again. So we toured the Brother album in 2011, and we came back then for our 20th anniversary in 2013, which was the last time we toured, BZ20. And then we did that tour, and it was a bit better than it had been in 2011. It was a lot better, but then we've come back on this BZ25. And we've decided that this is the last one. We're finishing it here.
This is the last one.
The Thank You and Goodnight album, which we've just released earlier in the year. The tour is called Thank You and Goodnight. And when we finish doing this show, whenever that might be, that will be us finished. But it's been such an amazing.
I'm really upset about that.
Just a little bit of a tip, as a journalist on radio. Can I just give you? If you're interviewing a band, maybe do a little bit of research on them, just a tiny bit, just so that you can actually ask the right questions.
The only
It's quite a big story that Boyzone are breaking up, Caroline.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and you've been such a big fan of the band.
I'm shocked. I mean, I'm a fan, but I don't sit there and I really stalk you. I pretend I do, but I don't.
I know you don't. I'm joking.
The only preparation she does for any of our shows is hair and makeup and a drink.
And a white wine.
Yep.
And she's
I think that's amazing, but it's fucking radio, Colonel.
Yeah, she's never asked. She's never. Yeah, there is a camera, but yeah, you're right. But she's never once said to me, "What are we going to talk about? What do you want to do?" It's always she just rocks up. I got my makeup and my hair done. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready, darling.
And I'm like, all right, well, I'll look after it. You just sit there and I'll ask you how you know him.
So all my friends, the first one we did, we had Nicole Scherzinger on, but she'd gone into one room and I didn't even ask her if she'd come on this one, so I just moved her into the next room. And I was like, "You're the first on the Not So Epic podcast." She's like, "I don't really know if I want to be on this."
Yeah. She wasn't even sure what she was doing in the room. I said, "Have you told her that we're doing this?" She was like, "No, not really."
Not really. I just thought it was best I just put her in there. And once she was there, it was too late.
That makes sense.
Many Caroline, many bands and artists say this is it for us.
Yeah, I don't know if I
Finished, and then 6 years later.
That just sell you out, and then you go back again.
Well, absolutely. That is obviously we're part of the same world you live in, so we see that as well. I mean, the Beatles were asked when they broke up initially would they ever get back together, and one of them was famously known to say, "Yeah, when hell freezes over." 14 years later, they got back together and they called the album "Hell Freezes Over."
So
I mean, things do happen, but we do genuinely. We have genuinely made a conscious decision that this is what we feel is the best work we've ever done. This album, the songs on this album, the work that we've put in. It took us 2 years to make this album, And we do believe that this is the best work we've ever done. We are a boy band. We never expected back when we were 18 to be still doing the same thing when we're 44 years of age.
Granddad's
And nobody expected us to still be here. We're delighted to be here. We're delighted to be selling out the venues we're selling out, and we want to go out and write our final chapter ourselves. We want to go out on top. We want to go out with a bit of flair. We were very fortunate to reach the heights that we reached. To still kind of hold on to a little bit to that right now. We're blessed. And why drag it out? Why rinse it all out? Why not just leave a little bit in the barrel for somebody else and walk away with a bit of pride, you know?
25 years. It's a long time. It's a quarter of a century to be doing this. And everybody now also has their own individual things happening, and they're very important to them. And they've built those careers. We all have built those careers. And we need to give that time too. So it's hard to do both.
It's like a boxer. It's like a boxer wanting to finish on top,
Well, of course.
and not keep going, getting knocked out by the time.
It's not only that. From where we come from, we come from very humble beginnings. We come from quite hard working class backgrounds. To have been as successful as we are, we're very, very grateful. But, and I say that for a reason, because sometimes in life, the best things in life are free. And people can look in and have a perception of our lifestyles and what we do and call us very lucky, and we agree we are. But there's things that people take for granted in their lives that we miss. For example, people we care about while we're on the road, unfortunately, suddenly or whatever, pass away. People that mean a great deal to us, and it would be lovely to be able to show respect and to be home, go to the funeral. And,
Sure.
And you can't. I've lost somebody recently in the last few days. Not to put
Sure.
it down or anything.
This is real, yeah.
And I was just talking to the boys, going, I'm devastated. I mean, we're all going to die one day, but this guy was a gentleman, and I know him since I was a kid. And I would love, especially because we're in this business and we're widely known, I'd love to walk into that church to show my respect for that man. I'd love to be there to be able to show people that, yeah, I am a busy guy, but I'm not too busy to be here to show my respect. And unfortunately, I'm just on the other side of the world. I couldn't make that happen,
Yeah.
And things like that from time to time can get you down. Now, like I say, the other side of the coin is we're very, very lucky. We travel all over the world. We travel up the front. I'm not gonna lie, it's comfortable. We stay in nice hotels.
Yeah.
We Caroline. Nice for
Well, no, myself.
You thought it was nice before Caroline decided.
Well, this is Ronan's room.
Yeah.
Myself and Shane have nice rooms. You know what I mean? I don't know how he's slumming it in here.
Seven bedroom staircase piano. Yeah.
No, the problem in my room is my swimming pool was really cold this morning. But
It makes you feel at home with the green.
and you know what? One of the shreds of my bowling alley is a little bit off. The filter, yeah.
complain
No, I've
about
only
that.
got 3 lanes, so 2 are still working.
The Not So Epic podcast with Chris and Caroline, Boyzone, hanging out with us. You guys have been tremendous. You've been amazing. We look forward to seeing you complete this. Yeah, well, tonight and the tour. You'll be front row center, right?
I'm in front row centre crying now that I know this is the last one.
We do this thing where Shane picks people out of the audience
Shane, it
for
better be me.
a photograph. Caroline, you better make yourself known for that moment and make sure Shane sees you.
Oh, gotta see ya.
It's you and me.
Yeah, he has to see you.
Oh.
I want to leave it with this. If there was one thing you could have gone back and told yourself 26 years ago, I want to go through each of you right now. The advice?
I'd say have more fun. I mean, the first 6 years were magic. We did it all. We saw the world. We travelled in style. It was mad work, but I took it very seriously. And because I wanted to be the best I could be, and I wanted Boyzone to do well, so I kind of put all of that weight on my shoulders. And I was the youngest in the band, and it went by in a blur, and I didn't enjoy it like I should have. So if I could tell my younger self anything, it would be, fucking let your hair down.
You still don't do that.
Exactly.
I do now, but
He's
you know.
so reserved. It took me ages to break him. I
Oh, did you hear that? I'm a racehorse. She were on me.
I think I would like to tell myself back in the day that you're good enough. Be confident in what you're doing and that you're good enough. I think I struggled in those areas.
Okay.
And I was always known to be very boisterous and loud and full of life. And a lot of the reason behind that I realise now was because I was very shy and I didn't like.
You're overcompensating on that
I
shyness.
completely overcompensated being the shy guy for being the boisterous, loud guy. And I only realised 10 years later how people had a perception of me, and it took me a long time to try and change that perception. To always try and get acceptance from people, to always try and be what I thought people wanted me to be. And really, all I needed to do was just be confident, and you're good enough. That's it.
Perfect.
I wouldn't change a damn thing. And that is the truth. You know, the highs and the lows I went through, some of the most depressing times in life, but some of the most happiest and joyous times has grown me to be the man that I am today. And if there was one thing, I would probably just say party a little harder, and I'm making up for that now.
So there it is. Cheers to that.
Cheers to party.
Pina coladas!
Chris and Caroline's Not So Epic podcast. Big round of applause. Boyzone!
Cheers, guys.
It's Chris Fade and Caroline Stanbury's Not So Epic podcast.
Brought to you by NMC Healthcare and Cosmisurge. Head to cosmisurge.com.